Hi guys, and welcome back to the Mission Empowered podcast with me, your host Emily. I hope you're all having a lovely day. And as always, I hope it's about to get a little bit better. So we are recording today's pod. We're going to address elephant in the room, number one, the colour of me. Okay. Yes, it's fake tan. No, I haven't washed it off yet. And no, hopefully it's not going to say this colour. So if you're watching on video thinking, wow, let's just get over it. We've all, done the whole fake tan. Do we do fake tan on the face? I've heard mixed reviews recently that you're not meant to, but then my face is going to be a completely different colour to my body. So here we go. I put it on. So that's the elephant in the room. Second thing is we're on nap time, girls. Eliza's just gone down for a morning nap. So within this hour, I have got to get this podcast done and get a shower and wash my hair. So wish me well. So let's get into it. Today's episode is about how to socialise sober. So I have done numerous podcasts in the past to talk about how to socialise, the effects of alcohol, how to basically include alcohol into your diet if you're trying to get results, or just how to manage social occasions in life in general. But I've never really done one on how to, like, giving you tips on how to socialise sober. So I think at the moment, definitely for me anyway, it's becoming, it's more apparent the effects that alcohol have on us, right? But that can be really hard to take in and break that cycle. If, like me, I'm 37, spent the whole of my 20 years and early 30s like drinking and socialising together. Like, it was just a thing. It was just what we did. Spent the whole of my 20s. So I'll give you a little bit of a backstory of me, because I've definitely, it's a bit cringe. I don't want to say party girl, but I mean, like, party central. Like, it was just, I've always loved going out, going to the pub. I was an 18 to 30s club rep, which the whole thing around obviously 1830s was like the drinking scene and all that. And listen, I'm not going to say it wasn't fun. It was an absolute ball. Absolute ball. I was saying to my best mate the other day, inside me, there was still part of me, and I'm like, I love being pissed. I love getting pissed. But the thing that I've got now is that I feel like I love it, but actually I think I just loved it when I was in my 20s and my early 30s. Like, I really don't love it that much anymore, but I just love them core memories, which makes me think I still love it. And the reason I wanted to do this podcast is because, I've, over the last few years, this hasn't been a month thing, like over the last few years, I have got really good at, I can go out and I have the power to go out and not drink and still have a great time. But at the same time, I still have the power then to be like, okay, I can choose when I want to have a drink. Like, it isn't always just a must, which I feel like so many of us are in, is that we could never think of going out for dinner with the girls or lunch with the girls or brunch with the girls and it being someone's birthday and choosing not to drink. Like, even if we didn't want to and we felt that anxiety to not do it, we'd still feel like the pressure to do it because it's a social norm. And, for me, it was a couple of things where got really into like my physique prepping for when I was getting married and going on my hen do. There were a couple of occasions where I was like, it's really going to affect my results here, so I'm just going to not drink. And it was really hard at the beginning. I'm not going to say it's not, because you're breaking old habits, but once you do it once, and I'm going to go through these tips for you now, you do absolutely feel like you massively reclaim the power over yourself and your own decisions. But yeah, so like I said, backstory for me, always loved having a drink. I've been, not saying brought up, not like passing the blame, but like, my mum and dad enjoyed having a drink when I was younger, and then all my friends, we were always into like going out and stuff, and I'm sure a lot of you listening to this can really relate to that. And then it just does become the social norm of what you do for people's birthdays, etc. What I am seeing more of now, I think, is that people are getting better. Like, obviously there's loads of like zero alcohol stuff now. There's things that are driven towards socializing without it being revolved around alcohol. But I know from working with my clients, whether that is in my group coaching or whether it's with my one-to-one clients, weekly I am giving tips and motivation to someone to go to a social occasion and either just have 2 drinks or not drink at all. And I do feel like, why haven't I done a podcast on this? Because I think a lot of people will really find this helpful. And the turning point for me wasn't, I didn't go out one night and get absolutely obliterated. I'm like, oh my God, I'm never drinking again. Like I said, I enjoy having a drink. I enjoy a nice glass of wine. This will make you laugh. But one thing because I do have this power now of knowing when I'm going to enjoy a drink or not. I went to, God, where did I go the other week? Oh, my friend's party. And I said to Ols, I will have a glass of wine only if they're nice wine glasses. If they're shit wine glasses, I'm not having one. It's not worth it, because for me, it isn't just the drink. It's everything. It's got to be a nice place. I want it in a nice fancy wine glass. The thin ones, really thin. I hate the thick rim ones. Give me dick. And so anyway, they didn't have the nice wine glasses. I was like, well, it's not worth it then. I want to enjoy everything about it. So it is massively about reclaiming your power. So I definitely have got that now. And the other week, it was my friend's birthday, and all the girls went to bottomless brunch, and this was a first for me. But again, I've done it now. I know that I could do it again. Bottomless brunch, and I chose to go sober. So I drove there. I'm going to go through my tips in a second, but drove there, did the bottomless brunch sober, saved myself some money. They had all like different drinks on there, had that, still had a great time, then drove home and was like, that was amazing. I've seen my friends, had a little dance, had something nice to eat, had a few non-alcoholic fancy stuff, and then I went to bed and I woke up fresh next day and did all my shit that I want. Like, that for me is just like perfect. But look, caveat, why have I got my fake tan on? Because I'm going out tonight. My mates are up from London. Me and Oll's having a date night for ages. I'm going to get dressed up. I know where we're going. We're going to a really nice restaurant. I know that they have really nice wine and wine glasses. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I will enjoy a drink. And I think that's why I want to do this podcast, is that I'm not telling you should never absolutely drink alcohol again. I think overall the majority of us probably do need to reduce it, but it's more so that we all know that, but it's finding how to do that is that we're struggling. So yeah, it's about, I want to help you out so you can make the decision to not drink at some events, and have that power, which then in turn gives you more power to know that when you do choose to drink, that it really is your choice and you're not just doing it to succumb to social norm or peer pressure or anything like that. Okay, so my little tips I've got written down, then let's get into it. So the first thing, I just missed the point. Sorry, let me just finish my story because I did miss off and I want to say the turning point for me, was what I used to get a couple of years ago, is that if I had a social occasion, I would find myself getting like a little bit of anxiety, not a lot, just a little bit of anxiety before I was going out. Like I would know, oh God, I'm going to feel a bit hungover tomorrow. Oh God, just a little bit, oh God, that's the only way I can describe it. And again, I don't think I need to explain that even more, because I think if you're listening to this and you get that, you will know exactly what I mean. And I never, ever, ever used to get that in my 20s, ever. Never used to get just pure excitement about going out. I didn't, like us all, didn't really get heavy hangovers. The plan of the weekend was normally, go out, get pissed, and then following day just have a hair of the dog and still be fine and get up and go to work the following day. Like, we get that, right? And obviously the older we get, it's not like that. And then can we talk about hangovers when you've had a kid? What the fuck? What are they? What is that? Okay, so wow, that's a whole new other episode. But yeah, I don't know whether it's because I've not drank for so long, but 3 or 4 glasses of wine. Wow, that is like another level for me of hangover. Anyway, moving on. So my turning point was I started to get a little bit of anxiety before I was going to social occasions, and I'd never had it before. As soon as I got there, like, I was fine. But then the way I felt like for like not just the day after, but it would take me like 2-3 days to feel back to like normal status. And I wouldn't do anything about it. I probably had that, I'm not even joking, for about 2 years, right? And I would just be like, oh, well, it's just how I feel. And then when I started making the choice of not drinking when I was going out, and I obviously then, I just didn't have that anxiety before I went. I was like, okay, this is a bit of a payoff. Maybe this is something I really need to tap into. So that was it for me. It wasn't like I said, I went out on one night and got absolutely obliterated and did something stupid. I just started to feel a little bit anxious around how I was feeling the days after, because I just wouldn't function 100%. And I'm 100% person. I like to function 100%. So anyway, I just started making the decision to do things, and I've done weddings, hen parties, and like I said, bottomless brunches, just socialising. I think one thing as well is like, it's a really good practice is when people say, should we just meet for a glass of wine and have a catch up, like just go and get a coffee and still have a catch up, little things like that. And it really makes a difference. Right, so let's get into the tippies. Now you know my backstory of how I shifted from Club 1830s rep. God, I was wild, girls. Wild. Well, and she's still in me. She's still there. But she's just, I just keep an eye on her. I'm like, not this weekend, then. Sometimes she comes up, but not as often as she did. Okay, so a couple of little tips then to rattle through. So the first one is thinking of your future self. And this one ties in quite nicely to what I've just said, is that if you are tittering with, I really want to try and do a sober night out, like because of how I'm feeling beforehand or because I feel after, the best thing to do is think about how you want to feel the following days. Like, how do you want to feel the next day? Like, some people are just lucky and just do not get hangovers and it doesn't affect them mentally in the slightest. Fine. You're probably going to switch this you're probably not even listening to this podcast, right? But for the majority, 99% of us, we do feel a little bit shit. We do tend to eat shit. We don't tend to move as much. We are just have that CBA attitude. If you've got kids, you know that you can't bring the energy that you want to bring. But like I said, even if you haven't got kids, it's just, you don't have that mentality of get up and go. And so a big factor into the probably why you're thinking about doing a sober night out is because you don't want to feel like that. And that is a massive thing, is that you've got to think of why are you doing it? Because like I said, you are gonna I'll get to this point in a minute. The first time that you do it, I'm not even gonna say first few times, because I genuinely believe once you've done it once, it builds your confidence and you know that you can do it. But that first time, you are going to be swayed with you are going to be, what's the word that I'm thinking of? You are going to be swayed by like temptation, and people are going to probably try and entice you to do it. But if you've got a really strong why and you're doing it for future you and just really thinking, I want to wake up and feel fresh tomorrow. Like, I really want to do that. I want to go for my run on Sunday and not feel like I'm dragging myself around. I want to get my gym session done and feel like I'm actually there and PB in it and present. I want to be with my kids and be present, not feel like I just want to lie on the floor. Like, you've got to think of your goal, because and really get clear on, okay, that's me why. Or even like me, I just don't want to feel anxious before I go. Like, sounds okay, whatever your why is, you've got to just have a little think about it. And it might be a physical. If you listen to this, it might be that you are trying to get stronger in the gym, you're trying to increase muscle tone, you're trying to stick to your diet. Well, we know that having a bevy and getting pissed neglects all of them, has a negative impact on all of them. So it might just be a physical, and you're like, you know what, this one night out isn't worth it. Okay. And my goal is bigger than having this night out. To get really clear on your why. The second tip I will give you is send a commitment. Okay, so rather than just sitting on it and be like, right, I'm not going to drink, not telling anyone, and then you get there and then you order a Diet Coke and everyone's like, why are you not drinking, blah, 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 are you pregnant, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? All of that. Just send the commitment, and it doesn't have to be in the group. Send it to one friend and just say, look, not making a big thing about it. I'm just not drinking this weekend because I want to show up to the gym on Sunday and just feel better, and it's not really my vibe at the moment. Okay, done. Now, what I will say, if you've got mates who are like, okay, ideally, you've got friends who are like, babe, that's fine, go you. Like, we'll still have a great time, and that's the end of it. And you go, oh, great. And I really hope you have got friends like that. You also might have friends, though, that like to drink in a social environment because they like to have that camaraderie of drinking. So that's a little bit tougher. And that is where, again, you're going to have to stick to your guns a little bit. And hopefully, if they send a message and say, oh, why? Like, I was really looking forward to having a drink with you, really want to let my hair down. You are then going to have to send a repetitive message of, babe, we'll still have a great time. Promise you, I'm just not drinking, and you really have to hold your own. If you've got good friends, the second reply will be, okay, no worries. They might be in a little bit of a mood with themselves because they like you to have a drink with them, but you've really got to hold your own. If you get a message back saying like, don't come then, or fucking hell, you're well boring, or you've roomed to me nice, they're shit friends. You don't want to go out with them anyway. They're bad people. They're not good vibes. All right. So we've got three parts of that, but like sending the commitment, fingers crossed you would get a reply of someone that says, good for you. Yeah, that's the type of people that you want to be with. Okay, good for you. The third thing then, going into like the social occasion. So you're going to send the commitment and you'll be like, right, it's already out there now. I haven't made a song and dance about it, but people know I'm not drinking, so I'm not having to show up and tell people I'm not drinking, okay? The only thing is that I used to suggest to my clients is like, well, you don't have to tell anyone, just show, and you really don't have to tell anyone if you don't want to, right? But I think it's easier to be swayed if you're not telling anyone to then get pulled into it. And if, like, if you do order a Diet Coke and you haven't told anyone, you then have to explain to the group, and it can just be a bit annoying. So anyway, yeah, I would just definitely put it out there first and own your decision. Like, it's your decision at the end of the day. It's your life. You make the rules. So the third thing is still get dressed up. Don't just think because you're not drinking, not putting your makeup on, you're not bothering washing your hair or doing your tan. Like, it's still going to be a night out. As soon as you decide I'm not going to make an effort, you are still connecting the socialising, the getting dressed up, the feeling nice with drinking, because you've decided you're not drinking there before you've decided you're not putting an effort in. Okay, so it's literally do the same effort as what you would do the same effort as what you would if you were drinking. Example from me: if I'm not drinking, I still do my hair, still do my makeup, and when I'm getting ready, I love a little pre-drink. So if I'm getting ready now, I'll buy myself like a little iced coffee and sound dead chaffy, or I have like a Monster to like get my energy up, cute. Because it still feels like, right, I'm getting ready, I'm having my drinkies, like, or my little treat of a drink, still do exactly what you would do and get yourself ready, because you'll still get into the mood for it, okay? Number 4, when you get there, drink something fancy. Again, don't just rock up and be like, I'm not drinking, so I'm just going to drink water. If you want to do that and you're happy to do that, fine, do that then. But if you are, I'm probably more talking to people who want to do the socialising the socialising sober, but really struggle, okay? So if you are that person, I would still recommend to go show up, right? Get yourself a fancy drink. One of the best things I recommend is getting like a tonic water and getting them to make it like a gin and tonic. So with the fruit in the nice glass, with the straw, jazz it up for me, okay? Like, that is an absolute game changer, because again, you're still having that experience of having that nice drink. That's something else that you wouldn't have. Again, there's loads of non-alcoholic stuff. I had when I went to this bottomless brunch, I had a 0%. Was it spice rum? I can't remember. I wasn't that much of a fan of it, but it was a 0% spice rum in like a mojito, non-alcoholic. When I went to the brunch, and I was like, do you know what? It literally tastes exactly the same, and it was like having something else, like, something different than the water. Obviously, you've got like your non-alcoholic beers and all of that jazz. But my advice is get something fancy to drink, something that you wouldn't drink at home. Because again, that's going to just put you in that social atmosphere of being out, having something special, feeling a bit better. Okay, so next one then, just to prep you, you are going to have FOMO. I am not going to sit here and bullshit you and say, yeah, do all this stuff and you'll go and you'll have a great time. If this is the first time you are doing it, you're going to have FOMO, but that FOMO will only last for about half an hour, I promise you, okay? Because it's all to do with like change of environment. And if you think about when you go on a night out, what's the best bit of the night out? The best bit is when you get out, you're seeing all your mates, you're looking at the hair, the makeup, the outfit, you're having like, oh my God, how are you? You're okay, babe? You're doing all the quick, the chats up, the waiter comes over, get drinks. Yeah, let's get drinks, wow. After that half an hour and that moment has passed, you will be fine. But that moment is the tipping point of whether you're going to push through or you're going to crack. under pressure. Okay, so if by prepping you're saying if you can get through that first half an hour, you will be fine. You'll be fine, because then everyone gets into the swings, you're chatting anyway, you know, you're having your nice little drink that hasn't got alcohol in it. You will be fine. Okay, so just prepare yourself. You probably will have FOMO, but then it will pass. And I still get that now. Sometimes I get places, I'm like, oh, I wish I was drinking, like for literally like the first 20 minutes. And then I'm like, oh, no, I don't. So you will be fine, okay? And then after you've got through that 30 minutes, you're then into the swing of it. You're doing what you do anyway. You're with your mates. You look good. You can take the selfies. You can have a dance. I think a really nice thing that people do when they're out the comfort zone. So I'm no wallflower. Shock. I've always been like pretty confident. Like I could literally have a dance anywhere, whether I'm pissed or not. It just gets a lot more intense when I've had a drink. So for me, it's not really something I've like massively struggled with. But I do know with my clients, when they message me and they've always relied on alcohol as a bit of a comfort blanket, like a social comfort blanket, like, oh, I'll only dance when I've had a drink, is they'll message me and be like, fucking hell, Em, I didn't have a drink when I was there, but I did have a dance and I felt like proper like liberated afterwards because I've never done that before. Love that. Okay. So, like I said, push through the FOMO, get into your night, have a night out. You're gonna leave early. Obviously, you're not gonna be staying out till 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Does anyone do that now? But even midnight, you might come home at like 11. Let's say you go out at 7. You might stay out at like 10:30, 11, right? You might be an absolute party animal and rock all the way through and be having the time of your life. But also you might come home a little bit early. That's fine. That's so fine. Because then you're going to reap the reward. So this is my next point, okay? Going on a sober night out when it's all you've ever done, you are doing it for future you, and you are never going to know the great feeling that you're going to get until the day after. Because the day after, when you wake up and you're fresh, you're buzzing because you still had a great time. You still felt really nice because you put an effort in. You saw all your mates, you had a catch up, you had a dance, but you remember everything. You don't feel like you want to get a Mackey's breakfast. You want to get up, go to the gym, do your walk, and you come home and you have to go to sleep. And nothing is taken away from your day, but apart from you still had a good night the night before. That reward, I promise you, is what is then going to push you on to be able to go, I've got that power. And that's my last point, is getting the power back, having the choice of knowing that you can go and have a great time sober, and you now have the power to do that. Or at the same time, you might be like, like I always say to my clients, like, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Like that is how I live now. Like I said, like, for me tonight, where we're going to my favourite restaurant. I'm with Ollie. I'm with one of my best mates and his girlfriend, and the food is good, the drinks are good, the vibes are going to be good. It's a hell yes. The hell yes for me. I've got no social occasions till about Christmas, like this, do you know what I mean? So I know that for me now, this is it. And then over the next few weekends, I've got things on, I've got social occasions in, but they're just not, the payoff isn't there for me, if that makes sense. Like I just don't need, no, not the payoff isn't there. I don't need to drink. Like I've got really nice things in over the next few weekends that aren't revolved around food and drink. Whereas like tonight, where I'm going to this restaurant, it's really nice wine, it's really nice drink. Like I'm doing it for like the social, the social side. I'm not going to Weatherspoons and, knocking back 3 bottles of wine for a tenner and shots for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, so it's about having the power and about reaping the reward. But the one thing I will say is that unless you never try it and you constantly give in, you will never ever know. And in your back of your head, you will just tell yourself, it's really boring not drinking. It's really boring. But that is you just trying to keep yourself from actually admitting, I can't go out without having a drink. Problematic, right? So yeah, they are my tips. I'll reel them off again. So number one, think of you. That is the most important thing. You, your goals, your reasons, because that's what's going to drive you through. Send the commitment. Let someone know. Let your mates know. You know what? I'm just not drinking at the moment. Not a big thing. Don't make it a big thing. Just not drinking. Cool, fine. Still get dressed up. Put all the effort in. Have your little pre-drink of whatever you want. get dressed up, drink something fancy when you're out. Don't just stick to the water. Order yourself something, jazz it up, make it feel like you're having, a special little drink. You will have FOMO, so prepare yourself for it. I mean, great if you don't, but you probably will. For that half an hour. Once you break through that barrier, again, you will get what I mean when you go through it, and I really want you to send me a message and be like, I get it, I had FOMO for the first 20 minutes and now I'm actually absolutely fine. And then you get to reap the reward. Push through, drive in, get in bed, you take makeup off, you put your skin cream on, and you get into bed and you're like, oh my God, I'm a legend. And then you get the power back, because you will know absolutely the next day that you can do both. You can go out and you can go wild and enjoy the drink if you want to, but you've also now got the power and prove to yourself that you can still go and have a nice time sober. And now you have that balance of doing what you want to do for you. Yeah. That's the end of that. Hope that was helpful. And like I said, it's a bit of a funny one, isn't it? Doing a podcast about how to socialise sober, and I'm sitting here saying, yeah, but I'm going out tonight. But the reason I think it's quite appropriate for me to do it like this is because I'm trying to show you that, as much as what we're seeing a lot of on social media is people abstaining from alcohol. I'm quitting drinking. I'm never drinking again. I'm 100 days sober, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's fine if that's what they want to do. But for me, like I said, I enjoy drinking wine and I enjoy that side of it. I really, really do. So for me, it's not about abstaining. It's about learning how to have that balance and how to say yes when I want to say yes and how to say no, and actually understanding now I'm in my, oh my God, late 30s, gross. Now I'm in my late 30s, 40s. Alcohol does affect us differently, ladies. Like, it does. It's shit, and it does. And that's why you're getting pissed 10 times quicker than your fella now. That's why you are sick every time that you have a drink. Just me then? No. But that's why, we don't handle our ale as well as we could in our 20s or compared to our partners. It starts to affect us differently. So if we can get a little bit better at managing it, enjoying it within a better reason than we did 10 years ago, we can still enjoy it, and we don't have to feel that pressure of, oh God, like everyone's not drinking, or I shouldn't drink, or I'm quitting drinking, all that. You can absolutely manage it within reason. Okay, girls, love you. I got the podcast done. Now to go in, wash my tan off and wash my hair. I really hope that helped. And if you do take my advice and you do give it a good go, doing a social occasion sober, drop me a message, let me know, and be fucking proud of yourself. Okay, see you next time. Love you, bye. Oh my God, dodgy fake tan hand.